Hey everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and I am back with another review. And today we're taking a look at from the Transformers Cyberverse Deluxe line, which is, I guess, a subset of Transformers Cyberverse Bumblebee Cyberverse Adventures. That's a mouthful. This is Deluxe Class Soundwave. Now, I was able to get this figure off of eBay. It is showing up in brick and mortar retail around the continental United States. If you are interested in ordering Soundwave and the other figures in the set, Big Bad Toy Store has a pre-order up. Now, this figure does look a little familiar. Basically, it's like the Warrior class Soundwave and the authentic Soundwave, which I've both reviewed on this channel. It removes the gimmick from a Warrior class Soundwave and basically has a bit more involved transformation and smaller size than the authentic Soundwave. Taking a look at the figure, we're starting off in robot mode, and my big problem is how the legs and everything are positioned. Basically, to get Soundwave to stand properly, it's one hand you want to have those legs perfectly straight, but then you want to come in and like straighten up the back, but unfortunately that backpack kind of blocks the legs moving forward, so you kind of have to then bring the knees back a little, and you get something a little weird like this. I mean, you can move the backpack out a little. I mean, that does work to some extent. It's a little unclear how that whole backpack section is supposed to come together, but it's not that bad. It does come with a blast effect. Now, unlike the other blast effects, this is a little bit harder of a rubber, and it does have on the front there, I'm not sure if you can tell, a little bit of a Soundwave pattern. There is a natural curvature to it, so depending on how you peg it in, it might lean one way or the other. I had it pegged into that sound disc, sonar dish on its shoulder, but you can also, of course, plug it into the barrel of its gun. The barrel of the gun can also be pegged into the shoulder here. It is on a tab, so just be aware of that it'll just tab in, not peg in. So when removing it, you just have to pull it straight up. Now I've gone ahead and removed these because we're just going to keep them aside for when we get to transformation. Before we get to the transformation, though, there is one little extra gimmick to show off with Soundwave, and that's its opening chest, which features a scaled Laserbeak, fully transformable. Let's go through Laserbeak real quick. Flip out the head, flip down the black legs. Very important you do that first because the wings peg into them, and then swing the wings out. And I have to say, this is a better looking Laserbeak than what we've gotten thus far in Siege and possibly Earthrise. There are ports on the bottom which will allow Laserbeak to peg into Soundwave's arms. Just like so. You can peg it this way, which I think you end up with a more natural looking gait. You can turn the forearm, bend it in, and of course Laserbeak can then perch on the arm like this. Straighten the bend the elbow, just like though. Although I think it comes off as a little bit higher. You also might be noticing in terms of articulation, there are some faux ratchets in the shoulders as well as the elbow. I say faux because they are just plastic joints. There's no spring or anything. That can sometimes cause the panels here to unpop from the shoulder. But for the legs, it's all mushroom cap, hinges, and swivels. And there is some limited articulation here in a pivot in the foot, but it can go back to forth. I find myself using the pivot often just to have a more natural stance. It's very slight, but it does help. Transform laser beam back, open the chest of Soundwave, and slide it in. Does that mean we will get a repaint of Soundwave as Sound Blaster with a different minion? Who knows? As far as I can remember in the cartoon, I think we only ever saw Laserbeak, so we might just get a bonus of repaint of Buzzsaw. So that's enough of the robot mode. Let's get into the transformation. Okay, start the transformation. Bring the figure back to a somewhat neutral pose. Arms straight, legs straight. Then flip them over so the head is facing towards you. Unpeg the radar dish shoulder array from the backpack. And when going back into robot mode, you want to make sure you give it a little push. That it'll snap into place. That way it'll hold it. And then what you want to do is you have this blue hinge here. You're going to fold that back and then fold the gray shoulder array back on its own hinge, and it will just come down and peg into place there. Then go ahead and fold up these little side panels. That'll help a little bit later, and bring this whole back section up and over, and it will sort of friction into place over Soundwave's head to form the windshield of the vehicle mode. Now, keeping the figure upside down, you can go ahead and bring the arms up like so. Flip the hands in. They are on ball joints. Rotate them that the hollow parts of the forearms are facing outward. And then go ahead and unpeg them from the shoulder panel from the wheels. And that will swing inward and sort of tab into place to the rear section of the roof of the truck. And as you do that, you're going to bring these down, and there's a little slot there on the inside of the forearm that will tab in to the inside of the roof. Do it again on this side. There's a little bit of play there. We'll get more into it when we go back into the robot mode transformation. Yes, starting with I will be doing Cyberverse transformations back and forth, and I will explain why when we get there. Oops, careful! I just rotated the whole forearm around by trying to push it in, but that happens. And then just rotate it like that, and then bring down these side panels if they haven't already, and that will close up the gap. Rotating the figure around, straighten out the feet if they are angled like mine are. Flip the feet in to the inside of the leg. Bring the legs together. They will sort of slide in. Come up to the back section. Flip up what will be the grill of the truck mode on its single gray hinge here. Rotate the legs around, so now the front of the legs are facing towards the inside of the truck. Flip this whole section up and around, and there are tabs here on the back that will peg into slots on that was on the front of what were the legs. That will come together nicely, and now you will bring this grill section forward on the blue hinge. And there you have truck mode. You can come in now, attach the handgun, shoulder gun to the post there, and go ahead and attach the blast effect if you so desire. And as some of you might know, having a cat, I don't really leave or use the blast effects out that much. They end up getting knocked off and disappearing. I'm sure you've all heard the story of the 4 hours I spent looking for one, but I do notice that it tends to be a little bit looser on the barrel of the handgun than on this radar dish, so I think I would prefer leaving it on the radar dish. I do really like the little pattern there. The wheels are plastic and just snapped in, so my backdrop is a little smooth. It's not going to roll as well, but I have done this on like a tablecloth and carpet, and it rolls just fine. Now, over the holidays, I got a lot of comments from parents who were watching some of my videos. Exactly the Cyberverse Battle Call Commander Bumblebee. And one person mentioned having to go from car to robot, and actually another person even said, like, why don't you transform it back? Never really thought of that, but seeing as how I am now aware, I do have parents watching with their children and trying to learn how to transform. I'll be nice, but I'll try to be helpful and show you how to go back. So as you just saw while I was talking, I removed the blast effect and the shoulder gun. You can, of course, leave the blast effect in. I think after a couple transformations and practices, you can transform it with the blast effect attached. And even the shoulder gun, I just figure it makes it a little easier. So the first step is you're going to come underneath and fold the grill all the way back on that blue hinge while leaving it up on the gray hinge. Next, you'll come towards the back of the vehicle and separate the legs from the rear and bring them back around on that hinge. Rotate it around on the waist joint. Go ahead and fold the grill back up. It will not peg into place, but there is a curve here on the grill that will fit into the curve where the blue bar is pinned into the waist. Go ahead and flip out the wheels. If they're a little stuck, you can push from this side and that will help get them out. Coming back now to do the arms, there is a nice little notch there so you can get a thumbnail or something in and flip open these panels. And here we get to the arms, and something interesting happens when they get transformed. There are little cavities here and here where my fingers are that parts of the shoulder kind of fit into. It helps keep everything snug and tight. The end result, though, is when you're trying to transform it back, you really can't rotate the arm up properly. So what I find I have to do is start moving that panel out, and that will help free up the arm. So unpeg the forearm from the rear of the roof of the car, and then bring this panel out while bringing the arm up, and that will free everything. You can then go back and continue transforming the vehicle as you the arms as you originally did. Fold those panels out, fold them around and forward, flip up the hands, bring them down just like so. Now, when bringing the back section down, there's a tab right there on that blue bar that will fit into that slot there and hold it into place. Oh, by this point, if they haven't already, go ahead and unpeg the arms. Usually, I almost forgot that, because usually when I've transformed this, the legs, not the arms, excuse me, come apart when you detach them from the back. So I was kind of happy to see they stayed in place. So bring this back section down. You might want to get a thumb in there to help it peg into place. Bring down these panels. They just sit over the wheels and the shoulder panels like that. I mean, that's how they came in the packaging. Then go ahead and bring up this blue section, unpeg it from the back. Rotate this whole section, the gray shoulder array out. That will sort of soft tab into place. And then, as I mentioned in the beginning, make sure you click that blue bar in. That will help hold things. Go ahead, stand the figure up. Pose it as you see fit. Attach your blast effects. Attach the gun. And I do want to mention that when you first get this figure out of packaging, if you do notice that the shoulder array is like giving you a hard time in terms of accepting the shoulder rifle, it might not be snapped into place properly. Mine wasn't. There's the head of Soundwave. Nice little that evergreen Cyberverse design. It's just on a swivel. But yeah, that about ends the transformation. So I'll pause and I'll give you my final thoughts? I like Soundwave. I think this is a great deluxe figure. I like that after the Macadam Build-A-Figure waves, that was a whole different thing. They're continuing this deluxe line and giving us more of the characters that were featured in the Cyberverse cartoon, crossing fingers that we eventually see a Windblade. Soundwave did have a prominent role, worked well with Hot Rod, if you remember. And it is Soundwave. It's one of my favorite Transformer characters of all time. A classic 80s cartoon villain. I would say Soundwave is probably better remembered from the original Transformers cartoon than, say, Megatron, Starscream, or even Optimus Prime, just because of its look and its interesting voice. And let's not forget, Soundwave's face was the basis of the Decepticon logo. So, definitely recommend the figure, and it's worth a pickup. If you're interested in getting the figure, your best bet right now is try to get it off of eBay. Unfortunately, a lot of people are selling them at a markup for about $10 to $15 more. I kind of got mine for a little bit less than that, but it was still more than retail. You might get lucky, hit up your Target or your Mares. You might find them on the shelf right now. Although I'm hearing in the post-Christmas shopping areas, the toy sections are bare. Lots of different reasons for that. Don't want to get into here. So, if you liked this video review, I would appreciate if you like, comment, and subscribe, as well as share the video to your favorite social media platform, Transformers page, or Facebook group. While I always appreciate the views, and believe me, this figure was bought because of the support of all of you watching my videos. This came from the money that YouTube pays me for creating the content. So literally, you helped get this figure. So watching the videos really does help. If you want to do the ultimate sign of support, then definitely go ahead and join my Patreon. www.patreon.com/chuckdog1999. Link in the description below, little information card here in the corner. All I ask is $1 a month. No thrills, no tears, no special rewards. All you're doing is helping me to help you, bring content like this to you, as well as keeping up the infrastructure of my reviews. For example, this new light box. If you do the math, all it is $12 a year. So put that aside, maybe put it in a bank account, let it earn a little interest. You'll have enough to do the monthly donation and come out a little bit ahead. Doesn't hurt. So with all that being said, again, thank you very much for watching. I hope you all had a Merry Christmas. There'll probably be a few more reviews before the new year. I have some year-end videos and stuff like that I want to do. But as always, I appreciate you watching. This is your old pal Chuck for Soundwave. We will see you next time.